Hi, my name is Lena. Welcome to my channel. I am doing 50 questions you have never been asked before tag. I was tagged by Mark Richardson from the channel Richardson Reads. I will leave a link to his channel into info box. And I failed to find the original tag, so sorry. The questions. What is your favorite candle scent? It's this thing. Marshmallow. Fireside. But I haven't actually tried a lot of them. I discovered BeautyTube before I discovered BookTube, and every beauty guru that respects herself or himself should have had a candle burning in the background, this Bath and Body Works candle. And we have only one shop in Moscow that sells Bath and Body products. And it's way out of the suburbs of Moscow, so I'm not about to get on the bus and go to the shop. No, I'm not. So those two candles are probably the only one I'm going to have. So, which female celebrity do you wish were your sister? None. Which male celebrity do you wish were your brother? None. How old do you think you will be when you marry? So, the author of this tag is probably quite young and probably wants to decide for himself or for herself um, the age when he or she wants to get married. I don't see it's happening. I was raised by very strong women. My mom, my aunt, both of them are married. And my first work, I worked for 10 years with 12 people, 12 female, 12 women who were either single, divorced, or separated. I don't see it's happening, but I do respect people who decide to get married and have children and who stays married. Question number 5. Do you know someone who is a hoarder? Hoarder. Does buying Tupperware qualifies as being a hoarder? No, I don't think I know any of hoarders. Can we do the splints? Guys, I failed to Google it. I don't know what splits are about, so but from the answers I understand that it's something that requires you to be very fit, so it's safe to say that I cannot do splits. I was very flexible at the very young age, but I'm not anymore. How old were you when you learned to ride a bike? There is a story here. I was about 20, and I don't believe that I can ride bike. I can ride bike, I cannot turn. So my brother and my cousin, my first cousin, they decided to learn me, to teach me how to ride bike. So they took me on a very steep hill. They put me on the bicycle. So I am about 20. They are like 15, 16. So they put me on this bicycle and they just pushed me down this hill. Well, I haven't injured myself in any way, but I don't think it's the right way to teach a person to ride a bicycle. So, how many oceans have you swum in? None. How many countries have you visited? Um, France, uh, Prague, the Czech Republic, um, China, Beijing, Vienna. Sorry, guys, it's more like cities. What else? Budapest. So it's safe to say only 5 countries so far. Uh, is anyone in your family in the army? Um, my grandfather was in the army, my father was in the army, my uncle was in the army, but right now nobody. Um, what would you name your daughter if you had one? And what would you name your son if you had one? And there is a story here. So I had a friend. He was my swimming coach, so he taught me how to swim and he trained me. And one day he said, we are expecting the second child. So he and his wife, we were expecting the second child. And he was so happy that he couldn't stop talking about it. So he said, it's going to be a girl, and we are going to name her Zabava. So in Russian language, this word means fun, amusement. Well, quality time, good time, and I was just shocked. I spent the next week trying to convince him to reconsider and to give this poor child a normal name, ordinary name that, simple name like millions children have. I Because children are cruel and they rhyme things, they rhyme words, and her name easily rhymed with one of the nasty words in Russian, and the meaning of the word. I don't think any girl would have wanted to spend her life being called fun, amusement, and I couldn't. I couldn't make him change his mind. And when I asked, "What did your wife say?" What did your wife say? And he said, "Well, she supports me." So a couple of months later, we had a lesson, and he said, "Well, it's a boy, and it's all your fault." So this, I think this girl thought about it and decided to become a boy. So, and he got a perfectly good name, kind of a Greek name, Leonidis, Leonid in Russian. So I firmly believe that you shouldn't name your children. You shouldn't create not unique names for your children, for your children's sake. Okay, what's the worst grade you got on a test? I have no idea, guys. We didn't do tests. We had exams in everything. I do not remember. Oh, it probably was my admission test to the English courses. After learning English at school, after consistently not doing my homework at school, I was given a placement test, and when the teacher checked it, he said, "Could you please tell me what's this word that is spelled here. And I said, well, it's our, like something belonging to us. And he said, okay, let's not start with the beginners. Let's start with elementary. It probably was the worst grade I got on the test. What was your favorite TV show as a kid? We didn't have much of the TV shows when I was a child. We didn't have any superhero TV shows, no Superman for me, no nothing. And my favorite TV show was probably Holmes and Watson. There was probably 3, 4, 5 movies in this series. What did you dress up as for Halloween when you were 8? We didn't celebrate Halloween, but we dressed up for Christmas, every Christmas. And I always was dressed up as a snowflake because I think it's an easiest costume to make. My mom would take my dress, my ordinary dress, and would put some of the decoration on it, these foiled decorations. I'm not sure that you have those. I'm sorry, guys. Have you read any Harry Potter, Hunger Games, and Twilight? I have read all of the Harry Potter, and I have them all. I attended some sort of I have no idea how to call it. There was a huge book sale, and there was a huge room with books published in English. And I bought first of the 3 Harry Potter volumes for a very cheap price. And I decided to buy all the rest of them for a very high price. And I like it, and I read it. It's my comfort read. It's my when I'm feeling sick read. I like it. And I read the first of Hunger Games, and I read all of the Twilight. Yes, I have done it. And I went as far as trying to read Twilight in French because it's a very simple text, and I know it. Why not? Would you rather have an American or British accent? I would rather not have my own accent. The thing is, when I just started listen to audiobooks, listen to talk shows, watching TV series, I could distinguish very well between American and English accent, between American, English, Irish, New Zealand, and Scottish accent, and Australian accent. And right now it's all the same to me. Right now I cannot even tell where the information I got in English or in Russian. So I would rather not have my own accent, and would have been more pleasant to your ear. Did your mother go to university? Yes, she did. Are your grandparents still married? My grandparents are all dead, and they stayed married. Have you ever taken karate lessons? No, I haven't. But I wanted when I was a kid. That's why when I was 33, I think, I spent 2 years doing boxing. Do you know who Kermit the Frog is? Yes, but If you ask me, have I watched all of the episodes? No, I haven't. I really should have. What was the first amusement park you visited? As a child, I visited the Gorky Park, amusement park in Moscow, because I lived nearby and I have photographs to prove that, and I don't look happy on these photographs. So I guess I was scared. And I was about 4 or 5 years old. Which language would you like to be fluent in? Okay, well, I'd like to improve my English, French, Italian, Spanish, German. I'd like to read in Latin and in Greek. I think I have probably missed something, but those are the first bunch. Oh, I lost my question, sorry guys. Do you spell it gray or gray? Whatever I spell it, I bet I misspell it because I am terrible at spelling. I need to check all the comments I make twice or thrice before I post them. Is your father bald? Well, he kind of had a bald spot, but he wasn't bald. Do you know triplets? No, I don't. Do you prefer Titanic or The Notebook? Hmm. I like them both, but not phonetically. I don't have a preference. I would probably, and I'm not talking about them as, I'm talking about them as movies. I wouldn't probably watch Titanic because it ends badly, and I would probably prefer The Notebook. Have you ever had Indian food? No. I had chicken curry, but I made it myself. I think it's a safe bet to say that I haven't tried original and true Indian food. What's the name of your favorite restaurant? I don't have a favorite restaurant. I have two very dear to me experiences with restaurants that I would like to experience one more time. First one was drinking a very good cappuccino in Rome in front of the, oh my god, how do you call it? The name that also means the entire collection of Greek and Roman gods. So it's in the center of Rome. With this site in front of me, basically on this side, it's not called Parthenon, but it's the word that constantly comes to my mind. If I will remember, I'll write it into info box. If I remember, I will write it into info box. And the second one, I said there was two, right? There were two. Oh, it's here in Russia. It's in Suzdal, a very beautiful town with a lot of old churches. And it's a cafe, and it's called Servant. So I would visit there once more. Um, have you ever been to Nandos? I haven't, and I have no idea what it is. And I am kind of Yeah, I kind of should have watched Curtis's video before I done my own. Do you belong to any warehouse stores? I don't have a car, and I don't have a driving license. So no. What would your parents have named you if you had been the opposite gender? They would name me Alexander, mm, in honor of my grandfather, the way they named my brother. What's your nickname? I have plenty. I don't like many of them, but I have plenty. So I was called Alenka. Yelena is more Greek name. Alena is more Russian, more Slavic name, and Alenka is kind of uh, the shorter version, the name that would be used in the family. And one of my friends called me in a Greek fashion, Makridopoulos, and she adds the Greek goddess to it. So the Greek goddess Makridopoulos. Who is your favorite person in the world? My mom, probably. Would you rather live in the country or in the city? Um, when I am in the country, I miss the conveniences that are available to me in the city. Um, and when I am in the city, I miss the peace and quiet of the country. Can you whistle? No. Do you sleep with a nightlight? Yes, I do. But I have no say over this matter. I have a huge electronic billboard in probably 3 kilometers from my windows, but the light of it is quite enough for me to be a night light. Do you eat breakfast every morning? Yes, I do. Do you take any daily pills or medications? No, I don't. What medical conditions do you have? I have no idea, and I don't want to know. How many times have you been to the hospitals? I am terrified of the hospitals. Have you ever seen Finding Nemo? Yes, I did. I have. Where do you buy your jeans? Well, in a mall. I don't have a preference. What's the last compliment you got? It wasn't meant as a compliment, and it sounds like, Yelena, you think too much. Do you usually remember your dreams in the morning? No, I don't. I usually am not even sure that I have slept. What flavor tea do you enjoy? Um, Earl Grey. How many pairs of shoes do you currently own? Well, I own a lot of summer shoes, sandals mostly, and probably one pair for winter, one pair for spring and autumn. What religion would you raise your children to practice? The thing is, I was christened at the age of 16, probably, and I was born in Soviet Union, so I think we kind of broke this link. Um, for a very long time it was probably forbidden to practice religion. I haven't done any research, but I heard that it was forbidden. And the religion I was raised into is kind of user-friendly. So basically, I was taught not to feel alone. So when I cannot get help from any other source, I just should place my faith in God and ask Him to help me. Something like that. I'm not sure about that. We we wasn't taught the doctrine. All this part when we should behave so this certain way was lost to us. I'm not sure. I don't think it's right to deprive your children from the feeling of safety. Although you may say that it's a false feeling of safety. And at the same time, I don't believe that you should choose for them. How old were you when you found out Santa wasn't real? I was very young. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And I was told that Santa wasn't real. I have no idea who told me. That it was my parents who placed presents on the Christmas tree. And so for many years, at every Christmas, I would put my parents under very close surveillance. But they always managed to fool me. So I wasn't sure the Santa wasn't real. Why do you have a blog? Well, I have a YouTube channel to talk about books. I used to have an Instagram page. I'm not active on it anymore. And I made these very short reviews in Russian and English of books I have read. And I felt that it wasn't the platform to talk about books explicitly, to talk about books at length. And that's why I wanted to create a YouTube channel, and that's why I did. Well, I know I should tag people, but I think I'm probably the last one to do this tag. So, and I think even people who haven't done this tag from my feed have been probably tagged. I'd like to leave this tag open to everybody. If you, like me, if at first you thought this was 50 noisy questions and you didn't want to do them, and when you watched video after video and you started to like some of these questions and you felt that like you have stories to tell, if you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. Thank you for watching, goodbye and happy reading!